Greetings, heroes of Dominion. Zeus here with another guide for the Lara Croft event. Today we're covering the Temple Guardian boss fights from level 130 up to level 240. Before we dive in, I want to point out two very important updates. Level 220 has been reworked. Previously it required buff 25, but now the best team can finish it with buff 20. And here's the real surprise, level 240 requires no buffs at all. This is unexpected and opens the door for everyone to progress even further. Let's walk through each stage step by step. Level 130, buff 0. The first Temple Guardian team at level 130 features Galahad with Oliver, Sebastian with Albus, Lara Croft with Fenris, Astrid and Lucas with Mara, and Iris with Biscuit, with Axel as team pet. This is the starting checkpoint and, despite the strength of the lineup, it can be cleared without buffs. Level 140, buff 0. At level 140 the composition stays the same, Galahad, Sebastian, Lara Croft, Astrid, and Lucas, and Iris, again with Axel as team pet. No changes here, and still no buffs needed. Level 150, buff 0. At level 150 the lineup shifts slightly. Nebula replaces Astrid and Lucas, joining Galahad, Sebastian, Lara Croft, and Iris. Nebula has no pet in this setup, but the fight remains manageable at buff 0. Level 160, buff 0. Level 160 introduces Rufus with Oliver and Isaac with Axel, joined by Sebastian, Lara Croft, and Iris. This is where the Guardians start bringing in counter mechanics, Rufus with his magic immunity and Isaac with his control denial. Even so, the fight is still clearable at buff 0. Level 170, buff 0. At 170, things escalate further. The lineup is Rufus with Oliver, Satori with Biscuit, Isaac with Axel, Lara Croft with Mara, and Aiden with Merlin. Satori and Aiden together can be dangerous, but once again, the level is balanced so that buffs are not required. Level 180, buff 0. At level 180, the Guardian team is Rufus with Axel, Satori with Merlin, Lara Croft with Fenris, Astrid and Lucas with Mara, and Aiden with Chorus, with Merlin as the team pet. This is a very strong lineup, combining both magic punish and frontline durability, but still designed to be beaten without buffs. Level 190, buff 0. The lineup at 190 changes again: Isaac with Oliver, Sebastian with Albus, Lara Croft with Fenris, Astrid and Lucas with Vex, and Iris with Biscuit, with Albus as team pet. Despite the increased damage output, buffs are still unnecessary. Level 200, buff 0. At level 200, the composition is Satori with Merlin, Isaac with Oliver, Nebula without Pet, Sebastian with Albus, and Lara Croft with Vex, with Albus as team pet. This is another strong magic punish team, but once again buff 0 is enough. Level 210, buff 0. Level 210 features Astaroth with Biscuit, Isaac with Oliver, Nebula without Pet, Sebastian with Albus, and Lara Croft with Vex, with Albus as team pet. This is the final checkpoint you can clear without buffs. At level 220, we had a big change. Previously, the best team required buff 25. But after more testing, we found a stronger lineup that clears the fight with buff 20. Team Aurora, Axel, Galahad, Fenris, Isaac, Mara, Lara Croft, Vex, Iris, Albus. Team Pet, Vex. This is an important correction, so if you were holding back resources, you can now save 5 buffs compared to the original version. At level 230, the requirement jumps even higher. The team is Galahad, Albus, Anvari, Oliver, Isaac, Mara, Lara Croft, Vex, Iris, Biscuit. Team Pet, Axel. Current requirement, buff 90. Here comes the surprise: level 240 requires no buffs at all. The lineup here is Galahad with Oliver, Isaac with Mara, Sebastian with Albus, Lara Croft with Fenris, and Iris with Biscuit. Team Pet, Albus. Yes, you heard that right. After the heavy buff demand at 230, level 240 suddenly drops back down to buff 0. This is very unusual for an event like this and makes progression much more accessible than expected. So here's the recap. From 130 through 210, you can clear everything with buff 0. At 220, the requirement has been reworked down to buff 20, saving you valuable resources. At 230, the requirement spikes to buff 90. And at 240, no buffs are needed at all, which is a pleasant surprise. The Temple Guardians are all about patience and careful resource management. Don't rush, especially with levels that demand high buffs. We'll continue testing and sharing updates to help you save as much as possible. Stay tuned for future reworks and adjustments as more players test deeper into the event. Until then, plan wisely, and as always, salute and friendship.